Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you are listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. It is May 21st, 2021, and today the topic is God the Builder. Can he fix it? He already did. I'm telling y'all, man, when these things come to me, I'll be like, Lord, you... I don't know. This stuff be funny to me. But anywho, that is the topic for today. Your girl's been up for a while. I've been up ever since 2-something. It was funny because when I woke up, I'll try my best not to wake up. And then eventually I went ahead and looked at the clock and I saw it was 2-something. I don't remember now. I did not look any Bible verses up, so my apologies about that. But yeah, I was trying to make myself go back to sleep. I was like, oh, it's just 2-something, so I'm gonna go back to sleep. But that didn't happen. Eventually, I got up and well, I didn't get up, but I was up. And I just started doing my little online thing. So since then, I submitted myself to be, considered for interviews. I've promoted my nail polish business. What else I do? I did a whole lot of different little stuff, little tasks here and there. But yeah, so yeah, by the time my alarm went off for 4, I was already bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. So, it didn't take long for me to get on up and get out of the bed and whatnot. Those of you that are watching me live, you see that I'm back in the green room. Back in the green room. I'm going to be filming an audition. I know you guys see my face. I wanted to let you guys know, I guess I'll let podcast people know too. If anybody wants to see me in mainstream stuff, like, mainstream shows or movies or whatever the case is, or commercials or whatever, then y'all pray for me. Because honestly, I'm personally at the place where I'm just like, I'm cool with doing this. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with doing this. I'm cool with creating my own movies. And that's like what my mind is on at this point. And it's even to the point where I'm like, when I do get auditions and stuff like that, I'm just mentally not even there. So I'm kind of like pushing myself this morning to go ahead and knock out an audition that I received. So that's why I'm in the green room. But yeah, y'all pray for me now. Yeah, I mean, if that's something y'all desire, you know what I mean? Y'all like, oh, we really want to see Miracle on, mainstream, blah, blah, blah. Then by all means, pray for a sister, because my heart and mind hasn't really been into it. Not in that aspect. So that's just some honesty for you. But hey, I'm gonna go ahead and push through it and try to get this audition done, possibly after I record this. So we'll see how that goes, because it's a whole thing. But anyway, so that's one thing. Since I'm making announcements or random ditties or whatever, I don't know. Just a reminder, today is Friday. So yeah, happy Friday. Woo, woo, woo. Today is Friday. There's a new episode of God, Sex, and Love, the talk show coming out. It's going to be going live at 7 p.m. on our Facebook and our YouTube. And yes, on GodSexAndLove.com. You should be able to see it on the playlist. It's going to be a chat with Miss Keisha Hall. So you guys can tune into that tonight, if the Lord's will. Everything's set up in the queue, so it should air at 7 p.m. tonight. Anything else? Well, just a reminder, might as well just drop that reminder for you guys that if you are in Georgia, Griffin area, whatnot, you can always go to the open house for Anchor Phlebotomy Institute. You guys can do that from 1 to 5, if I'm not mistaken. Ooh, goodness gracious, I'm doing terrible announcements apparently, but I believe it's from 1 to 5 on Sunday. Stop by Anchor Phlebotomy Institute for their open house. And if you decide to sign up on that day, I believe they are waiving their registration fee. So you guys can go check them out on their Facebook, get more information about that, the location and all that good stuff. But hey, that is available as well. Any other announcements while I'm doing things? not necessarily. I think I'm good. I think we're good. So let's get into this whole thing of God the builder. Can he fix it? He already did. Long story short, I did my full routine. Woo! Thanks to shout out to you, and I appreciate you. Shouted out that I did my whole routine. Thank you for giving me a compliment on my hair, even though all I did was pull it up like I did today. So hey, I mean, glad you liked it. And also, I appreciate all the well wishes and whatnot. Yes, definitely keeping those prayers and whatnot for my finances so I can keep these things going. You know how that go. But I appreciate you for tuning in and for commenting every day. Whatever you can, I appreciate that. But anywho, so I did all of that this morning. I did my routine and everything like that. Took a moment to just bask in the presence of God. Listening to Montel Fish and all that good stuff. And eventually, when I started to do my prayer and meditation, it was centered around building. And it was it had moments where it told me to, ask God, how could I build myself up? How could I build the people up? And then eventually, I guess once it wrapped, the word build just stuck out of my mind in regards to God. And God the builder stuck out of my mind. And then it's like, can he fix it? Because of course, that that little kid show. And that's how I go. Can you fix it? Or can he fix it? Whatever the case is. But then I can't remember when I got the inspiration for he already did. But I got the inspiration in between there and me looking up verses and whatnot. And I mean, the verses that God led me to this morning, it's some good stuff. I ain't gonna lie, it's some good stuff. I was like, man, I don't even know if I like, I don't know. It just seemed. All right, I'm just gonna share it. So here we go. The first verse he led me to this morning is 2 Corinthians 13:5. It says, "Examine yourselves to see whether you are in the faith. Test yourselves, or do you not realize this about yourselves, that Jesus Christ is in you? Unless indeed you fail to meet the test." Man, can anyone else hear how matter-of-factly this sounds? Like, don't you know this already? Oh, well, you may not know if you don't meet the... I don't know. So basically, a lot of the verses that I came across today are in that tone. And it's interesting. I find that to be interesting as well. And as I read that verse this morning and as I was writing it down and everything like that, I was like, man, I wondered how it was for these authors, to write these words. How did they feel or something like that? But that's a whole nother thing. That don't have nothing to do with nothing. All I'm saying is that, the tone of this verse is just very interesting to me. It's pointing out to that, we need to be examining ourselves. And then it's like asking the question, don't you realize that Christ is in you? And then it's like, well, I mean, you may not realize if you don't meet the test. I just think it's funny. It's hilarious to me. But, I mean, there you go. It's the same tone as the topic, a lot of times we are questioning God, right? We're asking God to fix something, but at the end of the day, he's already done it, right? All we have to do is believe. Check it out. John 3:16. Y'all know it. If you don't, here it is. "For God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have eternal life." This is how he did it, y'all. He already did. Through Jesus, he has opened that door. He has given us all eternal life. All we have to do is believe in him. And so, I mean, that I don't know. I guess maybe sometimes it feels as if we're expecting it to happen in another way, or for us to have to do something to receive it, or whatever the case is. I mean, and I guess, okay, you have to do something. Yeah, the thing you have to do is believe. That's what you have to do. But as far as everything else about like, you know, if God's going to take care of us and all those different things, his word says that he will. You know, like I said, I'm a living witness of how he's taking care of me, even throughout this whole situation, this pandemic, whatever the case is. And that's just me and my little testimony. I mean, you know, and again, some people may not see that as a testimony. I don't know, but I have to acknowledge it as that, because I know at the end of the day that I can't take no credit. Like, I can't sit here and be like, well, yes, I did nothing. Like, at the end of the day, I mean, you know what? And I was sharing this with some individuals that I'm communicating with and talking about some ideas with and whatnot. About like, I mean, you know, and I've shared with you guys here on the Juice before as well, that 2020 for me was kind of like a reset. It helped me reset in a lot of ways. Even as I was doing my routine this morning, I just was like, wow, you know, I remember the days where I would just sit in my bed, or I would, you know, or whatever, and think about, man, yeah, I need to be working out, or man, I need to be praying, or man, I need to be Bible studying. And the fact that over a year now, I've been doing all of those things on top of this podcast situation, it's just, to me, it's just a testimony of God changing my life. You know what I mean? Of God, like, but what did I have to do, right? I had to believe, you know, believe in myself, believe that, you know, yes, Miracle, you can do this. And push myself to that, you know, to a certain extent. I had to push myself to be like I said, even with this audition later on, I got to push myself for that too. But, you know, I had to push myself to be like, you know what, Miracle, hey, you know, this is something that you said you wanted to do, right? And this is something that you said you wanted to change in your life, or this is something that you wanted to see in your life. So get up and do it. Get up and do it. You have the time, right? What is holding you back now? And that was the same thing when it came to God, Sex, and Love and everything. You know, by the time 2020 hit and I was sitting at home and it was just me and my son and I didn't have nowhere else to go. And all I could do was do my virtual wine tastings and, you know, do my wine business and stuff like that, because that's all I had at the time. It was like, what else is holding me back? You know, because especially once I found out about, you know, this app that I'm using for the podcast, it's like, I mean, what's the excuse now? You know, because yeah, I mean, a lot of times we think that we need a lot of different things. And this is so funny because who knows, maybe I'm convicting myself right now, because I was talking to my cousin who's a filmmaker and we be talking about my ideas. And he's like, come on, cuz, let's just do it. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds good, but I want to make sure that, you know, I got things financially together before I just start filming. But hey, you know, I don't know. Maybe this is some conviction for me. Like maybe God is telling me to go ahead and do the film too. I don't know, but maybe, I don't know. But what I'm saying is that God can change your life, right? And that these are things that you can actively do. And so while we're sitting here waiting for God to fix something that he already fixed, that could be a little bit, I mean, okay, it just as a human making an observation, for me, if somebody's asking me to do something that I already did, that can get annoying after a while. Like, and that's just me and my little personal opinion. So, I mean, now, perhaps God feels those things, perhaps he don't. I don't know. But I just would say, like, let's just think about it, you know. And what is God asking us to do? He's asking us to believe. And if it's like you can't do that simple thing of believing, then not to say you shouldn't expect. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what God is telling you today, y'all. But I'm just saying that's what, you know, it's already done according to the word of God. Now, I came across this verse right here, Matthew 22:3. It says, and sent his servants to call those who were invited to the wedding feast, but they would not come. Y'all. Like, when I was reading this verse and when I wrote down this verse for the juice this morning, I just was like thinking to myself, is it if you're hosting something, right? You're hosting something and you invite your guests and your guests don't come. Is it your fault? Y'all can let that marinate. But A lot of times we blame God, right? We're blaming God for this and that. We blame God that our life ain't how we hoped or whatever. You know what I mean? We blame God for everything. If something don't go right, it's God's fault, right? When at the end of the day, like, you're not accepting the call. You're not accepting the invitation. All you got to do is believe. And word says he'll give you the desires of your heart and all these different things, but you're not putting none of that into play. But then you're confused about why things aren't working out the way that you hoped, and maybe even, now this is just me thinking here, maybe even God is placing things on your heart, right? God is placing these desires and things within you to get you to that place of where he wants you to be. But then it's like you still being stagnant, right? You still not making no moves. Like you're not making, and then, but you still act like, well, Lord, why am I not where I want to be? Why am I? I'm sorry. I mean, and I can't sit here and, I'm not acting perfect. Now, please, by all means, I'm not sitting here just trying to point fingers at people. I could be talking about myself too. Like I just told y'all. I mean, there's things that I'm still, kind of moving or just kind of slowly moving towards or trying to just, and whatnot. But hey, the topic is God the builder. Can he fix it? He already did. And that's something that we have to acknowledge. And I think the more we acknowledge that, the more that we'll see, God's hand in our life. And we'll see that, what God is doing. Now, this led me to go deeper, of course, because as you guys see, that's one of those mid-sentence verses or whatnot. And so, now the interesting thing is when I started to go deeper, I went to go check out Matthew, but I ended up putting Matthew 23. Now, I meant to go check out Matthew 22, but I ended up reading Matthew 23 first, and I'm talking about, it was a lot. It was like going in, like, that's all I can say at this point. It went in. I'm over here like, oh. So that's the go deeper section for today. Both of them. Matthew 22, so you guys can read the entire, parable, I guess you would say, about the wedding feast and what else Jesus had to say to those that were questioning him and everything like that. But then, if you ready, go ahead and check out Matthew 23 too, man, and see what, come see, let it marinate on your heart, souls, and minds. Oh man, I'm just saying, like, it's funny because you hear all these things about Jesus, but then it's like you hear very few pastors that actually touch on the fact that he went in. Like he like the things that he taught was controversial, the things that he said was controversial. That's why they killed him. You know what I mean? Like, or tried to. But you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. And so I hope that you guys take a look at Matthew 22 in its entirety. And yes, Matthew 23 in its entirety. Because it's some good stuff to go deeper with on today. Now, the Bible verse of today is Philippians 1:6. It says, being confident of this very thing, that he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. And don't forget, y'all, tonight at 7 p.m., God, Sex, and Love, the talk show. All right, you guys, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.
Hello, charmers. Visit ttcboutique.com for the latest in fashion and accessories. Twice the charm, the source of women clothing.